what happened since 2021?
Actually, a lot. Everyone is building cross-chain things, scaling to going to Solana, also working on Bitcoin. I have seen on top of Bitcoin like layer 2s.
So are we reaching the point where people don't have to choose between usability and sovereignty anymore? Do you think we're there yet? Or do you think it's still something that we have to work on?
Oh man, thanks for the love. I got news on this. It's much easier now, by the way, but we can talk about this later. Clear signing isn't new, right? The whole reason why that our devices have screens is the ability for the user to know what they're signing. That's what clear signing is all about, right? But then blockchains evolved.
It's like, crypto isn't only infrastructure. You need to resonate with people on all levels. You need to resonate with them on a functional level, but also on an emotional level.
In general, users should not care about network itself. It should be like, doesn't matter. It should just work without this high complexity.
Welcome back to the Ledger podcast. Today's a special one. We're joined by Sergej Kunzm, the co-founder of 1inch. If you don't know 1inch, it's a decentralized exchange. And Sergej last came on the show in 2021, a time when DeFi was just getting started. Obviously, a lot has changed since. And alongside him today, we have Carl Anderson, VP of Engineering at Ledger, whose work touches nearly every part of how we build secure, scalable tools for self-custody and for developers to be able to provide self-custody, secure self-custody for their users. We're recording today right here at Ledger 106, our Paris headquarters in the heart of the Marais, and it's obviously Paris Blockchain Week, which by now feels less like a conference and more like a pulse check on where we are as an industry and where we're really headed. So let's dive in. Gentlemen, welcome back to the Ledger studio. I mean, for you, Sergej, it's welcome back to the Ledger podcast, not the Ledger studio. It's the first time and at the Ledger studio, but it's your second time on the Ledger podcast. How's everything been?
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, so you did last podcast, I think, in 2021, right?
Yes.
So it's already like 40 years ago. I was living already two lives.
Yeah. We were joking about this earlier and be like, 5 minutes here is 10 minutes on the earth, like kind of the interstellar meme with the crypto space. It's a pleasure again to have you here. It's Paris Blockchain Week, so we're recording live from, 106 Temple, Ledger's headquarters. It's also your first time at the building. What's your first impression?
It's beautiful. Yeah, the view on the rooftop is incredible. So I would love to have such a headquarter, also for 1inch.
Well, consider this to be your home in Paris. And, we were talking about it with the team, but would love to do more things with you around here. So, yeah. And how should we start this? I was thinking about it. I think the best way to start it would be, to go back to 2021, because this is the last time you and I spoke. And, if you think about 2021, I think, it was post-DeFi summer. So DeFi was really at the experimental frontier. DEXs were starting to be adopted, but I don't think they had as much, attention and features and development as they have today. So tell us what happened since 2021.
Actually, a lot. So I would say 2021 was adoption of aggregators. Yeah, more aggregators started to appear, like 0x started to do also aggregation. Before they did just limit orders and some settlement and, based on transaction signatures. Nowadays we have a lot of projects who are moving in towards intent-based protocols, building super seamless experience for the users. We as well, so going into cross-chain direction. So I had yesterday my keynote here on the conference, and I was speaking about how we can scale DeFi to crypto. Crypto is much bigger. So crypto is like also centralized exchanges, multiple blockchains. with the limitation of trusting someone and putting some funds in someone's hands who can gamble with it or run away or maybe do some mistakes and lose maybe $1.5 billion US. Yeah. So I was speaking like how to scale it to the crypto space, and it's the narrative right now. So everyone is building cross-chain things, scaling to going to Solana, also working on Bitcoin. I have seen on top of Bitcoin like layer 2s,
DeFi on Bitcoin,
Rune DAX. It's a lot of things happening right now, and of course, AI is a huge topic. Yeah, people building a lot of things for AI and with AI. Yeah, in terms of like. I have seen projects, people building intent-based protocols where you can just send intent and you get execution from an AI model based on your prompt. So you don't have to use directly ChatGPT through the API and to have own account. So you can use just a protocol and pay with crypto. Or you can earn money by like tagging data for AI, so AI can be trained and you can get also funds. A lot of amazing things happening right now.
The future is here, kind of. But I think I want to double click on one thing you said, is the comparison to centralized exchanges and the fact that, decentralized exchanges are starting to develop all of the features, and they were maybe the main reasons why people were using sexes in the first place is the usability. So are we reaching a point where people don't have to choose between usability and sovereignty anymore? Do you think we're there yet, or do you think it's still something that we have to work on?
Not fully.
Yeah.
There are some protocols like Across, what is integrated in Uniswap. They do also intent-based, do fast settlement, but people have to trust them. So they deposit funds, they give funds away, and with the trust that it's going to be settled. It's kind of a good thing for user experience, but still not fully decentralized. There are other also protocols who are trying to build more decentralized solutions. We from our side, we have a longer settlement period because we have reorganization of blockchains. We need to make sure that it's atomic execution. So if something goes wrong, user get funds in any case back. So and user should also get what they expect to get. So there's already kind of seamless experience by using intent-based protocols. So user just sign Aura and intent, what they want to get, and how it's going to be executed is a work of professionals. So in such cases, such as across swaps or 1-inch swaps, you just sign an order and it's just executed automatically. So we are almost there, but still, like on the exchange, you just press a button and then it's happening. But if you compare to the whole workflow on centralized exchange, you need to deposit. You give your funds away, then you need to trade, and then you need to withdraw. And if you count the whole cycle, it's longer than just using a decentralized protocol to do cross-chain swap, for example.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a much longer process when you think about it. And I'm switching to you, Carl. I think I want to go back to 2021 as well. I think one of the main things that you're working on right now is obviously integrations within the Ledger ecosystem, mainly on Ledger Live. If we go back to that period, I think Ledger Live only had maybe one buy provider. Now Ledger Live's a lot more, I would say, cohesive as a tool. It has a wide variety of different services, integrating obviously 1-inch as one of our main swap providers and partners. So could you speak more to that vision, and then how do you actually start combining like secure self-custody with actually usability and convenience, rather than like kind of mostly the initial perception of Ledger products being a vault, a cold wallet that you only send assets to, but that you don't use in order to interact with any kind of services?
Yeah. I mean, you said it very well. So the basis of why we exist is security and protecting your keys. But once you got your keys secured by your device, like what you want to be able to do is use it and get the most out of Web3. So pretty, yeah, you're right. About 2020, 2021, we started opening to all the protocols, all the DeFi projects, right? And I mean, we've been working with 1inch for years now. So they're always part of our ethos was always to be open. You can use our hardware wallets with multiple wallets. And 1inch wallets is one of them, actually. I think you support our wallet since 2021.
Yes, it was my personal pain, so I couldn't use the wallet,
Yeah.
the Ledger wallet everywhere, so I had to connect MetaMask, and it was this terrible experience back into the days. Nowadays it's a little bit better on MetaMask, and I asked my team to you need to integrate Ledger, and I think they did reverse engineering because they didn't want to wait for our responses from your team, and they just did, like, I think in 1 week, reverse engineering.
Oh man, thanks for the love. I got news on this. It's much easier now, by the way, but we can talk about this later. But I think so that's kind of the point, right? We're open, so our device are meant to be used with any wallet out there, so that even if we disappear, it's stored on that device. You can still be able to use it with somewhere else. So that's on the hardware level. But same goes on the software level. We're open and we're integrated. I think we have over 70 partners now, both centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges. So you can buy, sell, swap, do, we also have a card, you can do staking and yield providers. So it's like, we're really part of the ecosystem, and the idea is for all Ledger users to be able to use our products and the security and bring that to whatever use case that they're using. I think that's
what's the benefit of doing that inside Ledger Live rather than outside of it?
Well, convenience. I mean, it's really the thing. You got two ways of using it. That when you're doing it within Ledger Live, obviously we have strong partnership with everybody that we were working with. So we curate, we review the smart contracts. We review if we have plugins or any specific applications, we make sure that everything that is in Ledger Live is clear signed. So it's really that extra security, and that's what you get from using it from Ledger Live, because you got the strong partnership, and we really I think we really are working on making this convenient and secure end to end.
Yeah, and like clear signing now, everyone probably knows what it is. Maybe a couple of years ago, no one did. And I think that, Ledger Live and the work that you've been doing inside of it was kind of preceding all of the kind of work that is happening now outside of Ledger Live to make clear signing a standard across the board. And that's something that we'll get into in a few seconds. But maybe just to go back to you, Sergej, and speak more about like Paris Blockchain Week. Obviously, everyone's here in Paris to talk about the developments of the ecosystem. You just mentioned a few of them, with AI becoming a core component of how crypto now is being developed and how users might interact with crypto in the future. I think also the macro context has drastically changed in the past few months. A lot of things are happening around the world that are making crypto top of mind. Give us a little bit of your feel, of the past few days in Paris, and what do you think is, top of mind across the board?
So it was really helpful to come again to Paris to meet the community. So we had on our booth a lot of people who always sharing feedback, how they see us, how they feel by using our products. I personally met a lot of different people, also partners, potential partners. It's always helpful to, how you said, to be very open and to just collaborate with everyone, because this is the key for the success. So when you collaborate, you build something on top of products or with someone together, like we do with Ledger, especially in clear signing. It's also a really nice feature what I'm using, and that's why I'm using Ledger, because I have my clear signing. I can verify and not trust what I'm signing there. So back to the topic of what's the narrative right now here is, I see a lot of AI, really. As I was yesterday also on a side event speaking on a panel. The AI topics are moving very fast. So you see, like, Meta released recently a Llama 4, a huge thing, competing closely with other technologies like DeepSeek, released also a couple of months ago. And everyone was really surprised that they achieved these things, what they presented. OpenAI also moving very fast with a new image generation engine. It's really incredible how fast it goes. Yeah, and also of course people try to build something. Yeah, and try to bring crypto with AI together and build something what would help us to achieve kind of mass adoption, right? So that everyone understands from the street how does it work, and AI can help here, right? So we had this discussion yesterday at the panel that actually we can use AI to like avoid this difficult learning curve for the users. They can easily just work with the agent, what can explain how that works, and can also use crypto without like showing everything. And for example, a swap can be done by just telling agent, "Hey, swap please my Ethereum to something." Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of such topics are going on, and I was yesterday also invited for for AI more AI conference here also in Paris with around 6,000 people who will come. So it's growing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think also decentralization is becoming more of a, they say that there's nothing more impactful than an idea whose time has come. And I think, if you look at AI and blockchain, I think, AI has been in development since the 50s, blockchain technology, all of the components of blockchain technology were developed over the past 50 years, but it came to life with Satoshi's, solving the Byzantine general problem like about 15 years ago now. But these things are converging. And then if you look at like what's happening in the world, I think, the decentralization of value is something that more and more people are willing to adopt, given that the user experience is ready for them as well. And I think we're making a lot of progress on that. And speaking of user experience, to go back to the clear signing topic. So, clear signing was a standard in Ledger Live for years, I would say. And then Charles announced the clear signing initiative. We were both present at ECC in Belgium last summer, and there was a roadmap, and the roadmap kind of came a long way since. So maybe take us back to that like kind of summer moment, announcement of the roadmap, and then the most recent development that you announced this week, which is the generic parser, to give an overview of, where we came from and where we're headed to make clear signing a standard outside of Ledger Live.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first thing is that clear signing isn't new, right? The whole reason why that our devices have screens is the ability for the user to know what they're signing. That's what clear signing is all about, right? But then blockchains evolved. So at first it was very easy because we were just sending and receiving. So very simple transactions to go. But then with DeFi and smart contracts kind of coming along, then you're interacting with smart contract, and it differs. Each smart contract have their own operations with their own data, and it's doing different things, which we don't know about. So what we did in the past was what you could do is on the Ethereum app on your device, you could actually install plugins which were developed by dApps that could actually then say to the Ethereum app, this is how you should display and interact with this transaction data. So you could parse it and then show it. But that was hard coded into the plugin. So if you made a change if you have a new smart contract and a new version, and you want to clear sign a new operation on your smart contract, then you needed to update your plugin. Right. Fast forward 2024. I think last time I checked on DappRadar, it was probably 17,000 dApps. So you're not going to install 17,000 plugins on your device. Like, that's not going to work, right? It doesn't scale. And so that's the announcement right now. Is what we did is we actually created a generic plugin, which is the generic parser, which now it's not hard coded anymore. Dapp builders can provide a JSON as to how they want their transactions or the smart contract operations to be displayed on the device. It's linked to the smart contract address, so that when the device is interacting with this, then the generic parser gets the metadata, parses the data in the secure element, so like there's no, you cannot manipulate, or it's malware resistant. So it does, all this happens in the secure element, parses all the data, gets the metadata to then display it correctly to the user in a very understandable way. So it's like, okay, this is what I'm signing. That makes sense. Is that what I want? Yes. And then you can actually proceed or reject, right? So that's really the heart of the generic parser. But we didn't stop here. I think the next thing that's also super important with us, and we've seen that in a lot of different wallets is transaction simulation, right? A lot of different wallets actually in the software run transaction simulation to actually show you what is going to happen, right? But because it happens in the UI, and we've seen that with a Bybit and SafeHack, right? It can be actually, if there's malicious JavaScript that can actually just swap the transaction data after the simulation, and this is what happened, right? Then you can still end up getting your wallet drained.
That usually happens on the interface of an internet-connected device and not on the ledger interface. Obviously.
So what we're bringing actually is at device level, right? We partner with 7 partners that are blockchain, Cyvers, Tenderly to do the transaction simulation. It's like, hey, they want to sign this. Can you simulate it for us? And then what we do is all this is signed in a secure channel. It arrives on the device and we display it. So this is malware resistant. No one can touch or tweak or whatever the data is. And so as a user, so you clear sign, you understand what you're about to sign, but then I also have the transaction results that are unskippable that then arrive on your screen, and then you can then make up your mind as to like, okay, it's a risk that I want to take, or no, I want to go back to the safe zone and I reject that transaction.
Yeah.
So that's what's up, or that's what's coming to market in the clear signing stream.
Yeah, and then that's the whole difference between like security at rest, which is basically no one can extract your keys out of your device, versus at use when you're actually signing something. You need to be able to verify that what you see is actually, what you sign. And most times it's, blind signing used to be a compromise that people would make in order to be able to use dApps outside of, the Ledger environment. And 1inch was probably one of the first partners to support the Clear Signing initiative. And we definitely thank you for that. And I think, we spoke about all of the different elements that would require, or that would be required in order to have a better user experience, from like AI helping with onboarding to security, being provided at all levels, because like you can't really onboard hundreds of millions of people if you tell them that they're going to be signing blank checks all day long, right? It just sounds completely insane, right? I think the other thing that you guys at 1inch were also like kind of spearheading is the connection to culture. It's like, crypto isn't only infrastructure. You need to resonate with people on all levels. You need to resonate with them on, on a functional level, but also on an emotional level. There are memes. You guys have, done a wide variety of different creative campaigns. We just spoke about one before we went on camera. So could you speak more to like the development of the 1inch brand and how you see like 1inch being connected to culture and building that crypto culture in the space?
Yeah, from the beginning, we started to work with the memes. So we were just 2 simple guys working in the nights on this project, and had actually 0 budget. So if you remember maybe my podcast from 2021, I was telling you that I was living like in an office without a shower and sleeping on an airbed. So we had really 0 funds for any marketing or community incentives or something. We just started with memes and started just to deliver. So continuously delivering improvements of the product and just giving the best value for the user by, for example, not charging any interface fees. What we still keep doing, we don't charge additional fees on the interface and provide what we can provide from our tech. And closely working with the community, we of course like over time we got some haters. I had my personal haters as well. So we had this DeFi chat in Telegram, and I was very active there. And then we started to discuss some topics with our competitors, like Paraswap from Paris. Now they rebranded, I think, to another. I forgot the name. The people started also to post on Twitter memes with 2 apes with 2 knives and the logo of 1inch and Paraswap. right now in DeFi chat kind of ongoing like you fight. It was kind of like good competition, I would say. It's was very, very helpful for the community. When we started just with the normal aggregation among markets, for one specific market, we just did a split. And then others started to do the same, we decided, like, okay, we need to improve it. So, and then we invented this graph algorithm, what finds them like multiple ways from one asset to another asset, even if there's no liquidity between these assets, like direct liquidity. So it was very, very helpful for the community. And so there are like good sides, like support from the community, and sometimes also hate from the community. And it helps. So like also hate helps to improve the product, to move forward, to maybe disagree on something, what they say, and just prove it that we can do it better. Yeah, so this kind of approach we used. Nowadays we are traveling around the globe, doing a lot of events, trying to onboard new people, explain.
1-inch events are incredible. Like whenever you're in any city, everyone wants to like be part of the 1-inch events. You guys really like, you know,
it's a good networking event. So it's just not just parties, it's more for networking, so people can meet, speak with each other, and especially we can collect the user feedback. So sometimes I understand that actually we don't explain good enough about our features, products, what we have. So we have 1-inch card, for example, as well, with collaboration with banks, and less people know about that. So we understand where we need to improve. This is kind of our approach nowadays, just getting direct feedback. Also discovering new countries. So we were recently in I think October was in Australia, so in Sydney. It was also great to meet these people. A lot of them hold crypto, but on centralized exchange. So it was also challenging a little bit to explain, okay, why Web3 and not why just crypto exchange? Yeah.
So and that must be very interesting. Also, like, you know, as a decentralized, you know, exchange. And a decentralized kind of organization as well, like traveling around all of these countries and getting feedback from the different users and developers as well, right? Like, because, you know, speaking of developers, like, for instance, like on the Ledger side, I think a lot of people treat security as in like an afterthought when they're building their own, you know, dApps or projects. And you know, I'd be interested maybe even for you, Carl, like how do you get developers across the globe to incorporate that value earlier in the development of their own projects, rather than, you know, once it's set up, thinking about it down the road and I'm mainly talking about like the security of their users and how they connect to the you know, specific services or dApps that the developers are building. You know, that is definitely like maybe something that, you know, you're working on at the moment, and give us a little bit of insights on how you're, you know,
very broad question.
It is a very broad question.
But no, you're absolutely right. I think the first thing is being open, right? We talked about the Clear Signing initiative, but it's not a closed source initiative at all. Behind Clear Signing is an ERC, the 7730, which was submitted and was accepted by the Ethereum Foundation. And you got all the specs that are available online. You got all the documentation, so any wallet can actually literally build Clear Signing for their own wallet. So any other hardware wallet can do it, any software wallet can do it. Everybody can actually base itself on this standard to adopt it and make Clear Signing a reality for all users in the space. Like, we're not just doing this for Ledger. So I think openness is number one. And then same, all the metadata that is provided by dApps as 1-inch, for instance, are available in a public repository. That, yes, today we are owning it as Ledger with the repository owners, but we'd love to decentralize it and make it, you know, have I don't know, Etherscan or the Ethereum Foundation, or it could even be a DAO, you know, that owns this repository for the good of the ecosystem, right? Yeah. But we need to kickstart it. So you know, we paved the way, I guess. So I think the first part is openness, and then it's really about making it easy. I think, Sergej, you were talking about how you know, you really wanted to support Ledger devices from day one, and so you reverse engineered how to communicate with our devices. It shouldn't be that hard. And like, thank you for the love, but like, the easier you make it, the better it get adopted. And I mean, that's that's our raison d'être at Ledger, right? We built this super secure devices, we made them open, and now we actually released what we call the device management kit, which is an SDK for any software out there to be able to interact and manage Ledger devices very simply. So all the complexity of what Sergej had to do with sending the right application protocol data units to the to the device and managing the state, that disappears. You don't have to do this anymore. There's session management and device actions and commands and all this stuff is just there. So just down to get an address, sign this, and all this is documented outline. So yeah, I think openness and ease of use then fosters adoption, and that's how everyone can then embed security within their projects.
I think from also like if you think about it from that perspective versus like any type of centralized product or solution, anything that's like kind of decentralized and open source in some way is always doing education and overall development on both ends. Like it's kind of a business to developer, business to consumer, and then making sure that both ends can meet in order to provide a good user experience. And that's a challenge, right? Like it's not easy because at the end of the day, you're not building everything yourself. You're also like kind of making sure that the community can co-create and co-build it with you. But for the community of developers to be able to do that, they need almost as much documentation and education as the end user products. You're basically, both of you are basically doing double the work when you think about it from that perspective. But that's what builds, unique products and different value propositions. And if we started the conversation by going back to, obviously 2021 and the user experience of, decentralized exchanges back then, and more specifically 1inch. If you think about the DEX of the future, like maybe take us to 2030, what do you think it would look like from a user experience, value proposition, and so on and so forth? And what do you think needs to change right now in order to achieve it, from technology to legislation, culture, anything of the sort?
So I think a user in the year 2030 will trade any tokenized asset, including securities, stocks, bonds, whatever, with the best execution, since we are fully decentralized in the setup of the protocol for trading. So, and not just only the end customer can use it, also institutionals are using it because it offers best safe execution atomically and in non-custody manner. So in terms of user experience, I think no one needs to understand that they need to change a network to switch to another blockchain. Should be kind of unified. What I see also from the Uniswap team, they're pushing also in the same direction. We released in September last year our cross-chain swap at 1inch. And we introduced something new where you could see all your assets across all networks. And you don't even need to change the network. You just see, like, you have Ethereum, and then it's just like Ethereum from maybe 5 blockchains. And it's a sum of all the assets, what you see. And then you just, when you interact, you need to change, to select from what network you want to swap to what network. So, but in general, users should not care about network itself. It should be like, it doesn't matter. It should just work without this high complexity, with creating multiple transactions on the blockchain. So my bet is that the financial industry will adapt, not we adapt to the financial industry, the financial industry will adapt to our technology, because we are like internet in the early days, what makes the whole system much more efficient, much more safe, and much more transparent.
Yeah, I think TradFi adopting DeFi is definitely a theme, especially with stablecoins. If you see it across the globe right now, I think stablecoins are really top of mind. I know we're kind of tight on time, so I'll ask you both the last question. It might be even broader than the question that I asked before. But if you could rethink one thing in crypto, and build it from scratch, not just fix it, like rethink it completely, what would it be?
That's a big one.
Yeah, this is a very, very difficult question. I wouldn't change anything from my point of view. It's like with internet, right? So internet started also small, and then we got some protocols that helped us. We got also SSL, so we could secure the internet connections, and I think it's just evolutions, small steps after each other, where we just improve and come to something. It's very important to build sometimes things what maybe work maybe for only a small period of time, but it helps then to come to new things. So I can give you a good example here with 1inch.
Please.
We started with just simple transactions, one atomic transaction to exchange on multiple DEXs at the same time. But one day we came to the point that it's not efficient enough. We need something better and better user experience. So we came to the intent-based protocols by using Dutch auction. So we try to sell from the spot price to the market rate. So to offer better execution and let everyone compete with each other to settle the trade. So they are market makers, arbitrage traders. So and then we came to the point, okay, we need now cross-chain. I want to sell my USDC, what I get from my realty investments from Gnosis. I need to sell it to Ethereum, and it's a pain, you know. And then we thought, like, we on our side, we came to, okay, how can we do it? Without the intent-based protocol, what we have built in 2022, we couldn't realize and build what we have right now for the cross-chain solution. So it's like one money Lego on the other money Lego, and you built your castle.
Yeah, and then I think that is definitely like interesting, but also sometimes challenging, because if there was a Lego that you built that was at the bottom and you need to change it, sometimes it can get the whole castle to shake, right? And that's definitely on the security side. You might, you know, be more even like kind of aware of that than something that's more modular and doesn't have these security foundations. But anyway, what about you, Carl? Maybe you have a completely different answer.
No, I think I really like your answer, actually. I was kind of thinking about this. So to answer, when you asked the question, I was kind of thinking, okay, what are the current challenges with scaling up Bitcoin or layer 2, layer 1 on Ethereum, and layer 2 capturing all the value, and because it's where the execution is, and get all the fees and not paying rent on the L1. But we had to go through this process, just as you said. We had to go through the process to get where we are. I'm also thinking about identity. I think it's going to be a big thing next. And so could we have built the primitives or made an ecosystem from an infrastructure that was maybe more ready for decentralized identity and giving back the control to users more, maybe, but without what we've learned over the years, it would have been really hard to kind of skip through it and do it differently. Yeah, I'm thinking Bitcoin L2s. Maybe if Satoshi had created a foundation for Bitcoin before disappearing, but also it's also the value of Bitcoin, right? That it doesn't change. It makes it very strong. But then we kind of stuck with scaling it for real.
But I think all of these challenges, they bring innovation, right?
True.
Like you know, to both of your points, it's like limitation is the mother of invention. So sometimes, you know, you're either going to create a whole other protocol in a blockchain to solve a specific problem, or you're going to have very inventive people coming up with like DeFi and Bitcoin and layer 2s and all of that. And that's what makes the space exciting, right? You never know where it's headed. You have direction, but you never know what are the different kind of destinations or stations to that. Like,
technology is very iterative, right? What I always say to my teams is, your software is always, you make it work, you make it right, and then you make it great, right? So it's iterative. You need to get to you start from a blank page, kind of crafts things up, then gives you ideas, and then you kind of go, and it gets, fast forward 10 years, this is where we are today, right?
For sure. Sergej, tell us what's next for 1inch. I know you're traveling around the world. Where can people meet with you next? How can people stay up to date with the news of 1inch and follow you?
Yes, so we are on x.com, or former Twitter, I like Twitter more.
I agree with that.
Yes. Yeah, just follow us on x.com. We publish everything there. We have some new exciting news coming very soon, end of this month. So stay tuned. It's a new innovation in the space, especially for cross-chain swaps. So, of course, we do also some research on our side. So also in the AI direction, there's a lot of things what can be built for crypto and with crypto. So yeah, and conferences, Token 2049, Dubai, Token 2049, Singapore will be there. So Dubai will come with a future announcement.
Cool. We're looking forward to that. I'll see you in Dubai. And thank you for being with us. Hope to have you here again and talk about more developments on the 1inch Ledger partnership side of things. And thank you, Card, for being with us once again. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Sergej.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here.
That's it. We've covered a lot from how decentralized exchanges are evolving to what it means to build secure by default infrastructure to the cultural undercurrents shaping crypto today. These conversations matter not just for the builders already in the space, but for everyone who's curious about where this is going and how to get there safely. If you're swapping on 1inch, it's live and secure inside Ledger Live. And if you're building in the space, well, check out Ledger's developer portal. It's never been easier to integrate real security with clear signing from the start. This was recorded live at Ledger 106 during Paris Blockchain Week. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Stay secure.